Welcome to Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. Share this link with others and get ready for something awesome. Books and Besties, the virtual book fair.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. Hello. It is good to be here. Today is the day the Lord has made, and I'm excited, I'm rejoicing, and I'm glad about it. Welcome to Books and Besties. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Angie B., and I'm thrilled to let you know that my bestie on this show is author Avalon S. Brown. Together, we strive to interview authors, entrepreneurs, business owners, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, and community leaders. And that's the reason why we get up so early on a Saturday morning to bring these interviews and bring these people to you. So welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. Before we get started, I've got one little special announcement to make, and then I'll be able to bring on Avalon. I've had wives and I've had friends. This is going to be an anthology, a book for women written by the men that we are trying to love. So, gentlemen, you are cordially invited to become an author in this project by sharing your thoughts and experiences. This book is inspired by me, Dr. Angie B., and brought to you by author Avalon and Angie B. This book was inspired by a conversation that I had with a man who calls me his friend. I've had wives and I've had friends. Gentlemen, we want to hear from you. We'll talk more about this project later on in the show. But right now, I got to bring in Avalon. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. I can't believe we both in blue and black. we didn't plan this. We really didn't. It's just God.
I know.
How was your week so far, my dear?
It was a very quiet week. Very quiet. Didn't do much. Just kind of working on the books, but just quiet week.
Good.
Besides running behind my great grandson.
It still amazes me that you have a great grandson. Oh my goodness. When I was a kid, it seemed like my great grandmothers were so old, and they probably just 60 or 70, but when you're a kid,
everything looks old, right? They look old.
Yep. So congratulations on great grandchildren. Mm-hmm. So tell us about your upcoming nurse project.
Well, I have a book coming out. Still I Care. It's about nurses rising above nurse bullying, and I have a couple of nurses in the book. It's an anthology, and they're telling their story and their different experiences of being bullied, whether they were a new nurse or a seasoned nurse, just different experiences that they dealt with, and sometimes still dealing with, but they just put a couple of experiences in there. This is becoming a very big thing in nursing field now, nurse bullying. Why? I still don't understand it, because if you're bullying a new nurse, that means you forgot that one day you were a new nurse, and somebody had to train you and have patience with you. If you're a seasoned nurse, it's just that, you're either a nurse or you're working with people that's just evil. That's all. That's the only way I could put it, because there's no reason for nurses to be like that toward each other. Doctors have this camaraderie. Why can't we have the same thing and look out for each other? Why are we always backstabbing each other? I really don't understand.
You're right. It just it doesn't seem fair. Like I've heard your story about the ladies that took you under their wing and they trained you. when you
Hmm.
first got started. And I just assumed everybody had that wonderful experience. But
No.
now I'm learning. I also
Yeah.
have I've met nurses that, well, former nurses that swear they'll never go back into that, career field
Hmm.
again because of the bullying. So I pray that your book encourages somebody.
Yes. Yes. That's what we're hoping. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now this isn't your first nursing book, right?
No, it's not. I did an anthology before where I got 10 nurses to come together. Nursing is our passion. We can't quit. And they wrote about just their general experience that they went through in nursing, not really bullying, but just as a nurse and the struggles and the challenges, but why the profession with all those challenges did not make them quit, why they continue, because nursing had become their passion and
Right,
they were there for a different reason, not just because of what was going on around them. They were really there to give the best quality care that they can give to their patients.
right, right, right. And I love the concept of encouraging people so they don't quit. So
Yes.
they, yeah, so they stay. Hmm. And tell me about the men. Did you do something for mental?
Yes, I also did an anthology with a couple of male nurses because me
Yeah.
and my friend was having this little debate and I was making a joke with him because I felt like, the men never get yelled at by the supervisors or the men are treated much different. But then he had to correct me and he said, well, you're not looking at the right thing. You don't think about what we have to go through, especially if we have to go in and take care of a female patient or we have to put a catheter in a female patient or wash a female patient. We need somebody in there with us sometimes because we don't want the wrong perception or we don't want to be accused of something because
Hmm.
we are male nurses, because some female patients don't want male nurses taking care of them. So
Right.
they wrote about their experience and how they feel as male nurses and what they go through.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I remember writing my story for that book and realized that I did the same thing. A male nurse had to had to help me, and I really told him I would wait for the female nurse because I was a
Hmm.
little too
Yeah.
embarrassed to let him do his job. And I pray that he forgives me for that. He graciously bowed out, and I waited for another nurse to come. But oh my goodness, I just didn't even think about it that way.
Yes.
I'm preventing him from doing his job and possibly delaying my own care
Yes.
because he was, yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes you also have male patients that don't want the male nurse to take care of them.
Oh wow,
Yes.
I had never thought about it that way, but yeah. We got a question that came in. I'm responding to it, but they wanted to know how they can get in touch with you if they want to be in the nursing book.
You can email me at avalonbrown165 at yahoo.com or send me a message through Facebook, author Avalon S. Brown.
Okay, give me that email address again. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
avalonbrown165 at yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Hopefully they will. Hopefully
Put
they'll
their
be
story in.
starting. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, do you have a word count? Do they have to contribute
well,
a certain
it,
word?
I would prefer you do no more than 3 pages,
Okay.
you know?
And that's Times New Roman 12 font
Yes.
and what? Double spaced?
Well, I'll double space it one side, format the book. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Before our first guest come, I want you to see some of the uh, some of the new sound effects that we have in this program. This one is the drum roll. Isn't that funny? And then we got
Yeah. What's that? It's like a
gone.
wow.
Yep. But this one's my favorite.
Yes, the clapping.
Yep. We got new sound effects. I really, really love StreamYard. It seems like every time I enter, there's something new going on, and so I'm
Oh,
excited about that. Yeah, we got applause. All right, Dr. Lois Green has just logged in. It looks like she's got such a scenic background. Oh my
mm.
goodness, she looks. So I'm going to let you read her bio, and we will bring her in the studio.
Okay, Dr. Lois V. Green. She is a board certified nurse executive advanced. She's a senior vice president of wellness, diversity, equity, and inclusion at
Mm-hmm.
University Hospital in Newark, New Jersey. But that's
Mm-hmm.
just the beginning. Over 20 years of experience she has across trauma, emergency, oncology, home health, and ambulatory care. She's known for her compassionate leadership and her mission to create high quality, equitable, and human centered health care spaces. Dr. Green is also the author of Beyond the Spectrum: Navigating Autism into Adulthood, a heart filled and practical guide for parents and professionals who support individuals on their autism journey. Her book blends personal insight with professional wisdom, offering a roadmap of understanding, advocacy, and empowerment. She is also a mentor, speaker, and a mom who lives at the intersection of healing, hope, and justice. She's here today to talk about her journey as an author, her inspiration for writing Beyond the Spectrum, and how storytelling plays a role in advocacy. Let's welcome Dr. Green.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so lovely to be here.
Yes,
Absolutely
yes.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Bestie Avalon, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. So, can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
we can
yes.
see you and your dimples and those gorgeous earrings too. We can see it on profile. Thank you.
Uh,
Lois
You're,
and I worked in the same division at University Hospital. I was in infection control and she was in quality. Now I was, honored to hear that she's now the vice president over the health department, you know.
nice.
Yes.
right.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank
Oh,
you. I am grateful. You know, the road of life takes you many, many different ways. And my
mhm.
time in quality really prepared me for what I'm doing now because you see how important, how difficult it is to change and how important it is to do the right thing. So, yeah, thank you, Avalon.
Yes, yes, yes. So
I
tell
know.
us about your journey. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Angie, go ahead.
I know Avalon has questions, but I just gotta jump in here.
Sure.
Why autism? You wrote a book about autism. Tell
Did.
me.
And it
Mm,
was really one of the furthest things from my intersection in life. So I'm a nurse by training and an emergency room nurse. And you definitely recognize that there's different personalities of people that you come in contact with on a regular basis. Fast forward, I've been a nursing assistant. I like to say CNA to CNO.
mm,
I've been through leadership, and you just see, even in working in life, there's different personalities of people, and you have to have a certain understanding in order to manage them. This particular book became really important for me to write because I felt like there was a voice that was not being heard, and there were well-intentioned, well-meaning people who just are used to taking care of what we call a neurotypical person. But
mm,
they're right, neurotypical, meaning that, I'm a nurse. When I walk in the room, I'm going to go take your blood pressure. I'm going to put it on your arm. I don't have to give you a lot of explanation for that. There are some people who are very sensitive to sensory stimulation, to touch, to
Mm.
gown. I laugh because we have had the same hospital gown probably since my grandmother was a nurse, right? It's one texture. Everybody recognizes it. Even when you see a baby, like a new baby picture, you see this one texture of fabric, and we don't recognize that. There are some people that feels like needles touching their
Mm.
skin when they're around that. So
Mm.
there was not the voice of the person who was neurodivergent, who wasn't not smart or not, kind, but they had special uh, ways that they were. And I think it was really important that we communicate both for parents, because I went to see the play recently. Oh my goodness, can't think of the name, but there was a mom in that play that sort of personifies my neurodivergent mom, who
Oh.
is super, super protective of their child because they're smart. They're really smart. And it's got nothing to do with intelligence. They may be really smart, but they still don't like, certain types of foods. And so they're not going to eat them. So having a standoff with a child like that is, a journey to frustration. Or they're certain sensories, they're sensitive to touch. So they're not going to hug every auntie that works in the room. That doesn't work for them, but they moms need to understand that the rest of the world needs to understand your child, and it's not a bad thing for them to be tested and to be understood and allowed to be to sail as high as they could sail. And sometimes we found why I wrote the book was because there were so many. It was like mom after mom after mom who just decided, you know what, the world doesn't understand my child, so I'm going to take care of my child by myself.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
well, right?
Yeah, that's what we
Relationship,
do as moms. Yeah.
right? Those relationships break up. Oh, he doesn't understand. He doesn't, he feels like he can, discipline Johnny into acting right or eating this food. So that breaks apart. You take them to someone's house and they're not manageable. So be like, don't bring your child here because they don't know how to act. So you
Right.
just separate yourself, and then you stay the only one who understands. He likes a certain type of French fry. If it's not the, Arby's French
Right.
fry,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's going to crash out. Now, mom knows that, but the rest of the world, oh, he likes French fries. Great. I made my own homemade French fries for your child. And he throws the plate. The world doesn't understand the degree of rigidity that can happen. That person graduates high school, they'll graduate, summa cum laude, because they do what you tell them to do. And then
Right.
when they go and get a job and the boss is like, oh, please, stack those boxes, their mind sees the serial numbers on the boxes and is recognizes that the serial.
Mhm.
So the serial numbers have to be put in order. And that's what their mind is thinking. The boss is like, I just wanted you to stack the boxes, not all this extra stuff. And then when they get defined and say, well, that's why your sales are so horrible, or tell the boss,
To look
piece
at the
of hair.
door, it wouldn't open for me this morning. The combination wouldn't go through.
So, you okay?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. No, I didn't want to,
No.
then there's a lack of understanding. And so in the hospital, I think there was a need for care providers to understand you have to speak to somebody when you're going to touch them. You have to understand if they can't put on that gown, talk to mom, pull the information that we need to have
1965.
to take the best care of them.
Oh my goodness.
So, being able to understand that there's differences and what those differences are was important. And I felt like the message wasn't getting out there. I felt like it was mom after mom after mom who was rallying against the school because the school recognized there was something different and maybe they should be tested, and they didn't want them classified, right? Or
Mm.
they didn't want um, anybody to misunderstand their child. But there's specialists out there who can support. And, we know people in political power right now that are on the spectrum. It is not a diagnosis of death. It's not a diagnosis of you're not worth anything. We just
Mm.
have to find what is, and all of us have to find it. I think it's everybody's journey to find out what is my purpose and
Right.
where do I best fit in life.
Right. Right. Got to give a shout out to Jasmine Elise Simmons. She says that what you're saying is absolutely true. The spectrum is wildly misunderstood, and she is loving this discussion. So
Mm.
thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for
Yes.
joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's really important that we normalize and have the discussion. You know, neurodivergence, there's neurotypical. We all are here and valuable. I'm a very spiritual person. I feel like God did not make any mistakes. There
Mhm.
are moms who are suffering because they're trying to do it by themselves. They're trying to, protect their child from the world and they don't have the supports. You cannot take care of somebody 24/7 and not burn out yourself. So,
Mhm.
Mhm.
understanding, having them learn more. I put tools in the book that kind of give moms, a guidance, a direction. Our hospitals, usually when a neurodivergent person lands in a hospital, it's not expected, right? It's
Mm.
and our hospitals have alarms for everything. That can just be an unnerving place to be, but we're doing it for safety. We have our own justifications for why everything is the way it is, but we also have to sort of prepare, kids when they're coming into a hospital, what they're going to see. And I'm outside. I'm actually in South Carolina right now, so I'm outside my mom's house, and lives on a golf course, so you'll see golfers driving by. So,
But now I have a question or a
sure.
statement. Like my grandson
Mhm.
was diagnosed as an autistic child. He's
Mhm.
18 now. But I guess I need to do more research because for me, I can't tell what's different about him. Now I know he doesn't like to be like he won't be with when if they have like a birthday party for the family or somebody there, he'll come for a second and get a plate and he's gone. Or
Yeah.
he'll stay in his room a lot. Or it's like, for me, I told my daughter, I can't see what's different about him. Now, she says he has a different type of autism, something to do with his learning.
Okay. And
But
and
other
that's
than that, I can't,
yeah. It's not
you know.
like when you say someone has diabetes, you recognize that their blood sugar is out of order. But you can have diabetes and be on pills. You can have diabetes and managing it with your diet and exercise. You can have diabetes and be on Q1 hourly insulin, right? So there is a spectrum similarly. And I think it's more difficult for us
Mhm.
because we don't see we're not able to see exactly what or even diagnose exactly what the challenges are. But what's important is that right? And that you test and see what are the things that you need to learn. Because a very highly skilled autistic people do what they call is masking, right? They just figure out, because they're smart, how to mask. And so like he said, it's very antisocial for me not to show up at a family event. So I'm going to come, I'm gonna get the plate, but this is just too much stimulation for me to be comfortable.
Mm.
Mm,
Some people, they do it by, you know what? If I have 4 or 5 drinks, I can, I can. It decreases the stimulation, so they self-medicate, not knowing that, you know what, this is something that is just a part of me, and I don't have to um, that do things negatively in order to cope. But they just want to feel normal because they kind of recognize that, wait, everybody else is at this party and they're having a great time. I feel like I want to jump out my skin. Something's different. Managing that,
mm.
learning skills, to adapt is important. And so I would say that he has to really learn himself, right? There's a lot of, especially being 18, a lot of tests and just skill assessing. What are his strengths he needs to learn? And that's really all of our journey, right? Learn who we are and what we bring to the world so that he can best communicate and just, uh, be the person that he is, but still live a full life and still.
Yeah, because he had a lot of testing when he was young. It's just that now he's 18, but I
Correct.
just never could see the difference or what was going on. So I guess because I'm not in the house
Yeah.
and I'm not there when he's doing his work, his mother would, be able to know more about. She does know more about it. Plus, she's a nurse too, so she knows how to deal with him. And I guess everybody knows when not to bother him or what. If he don't want to come out of his room, just don't bother him. As because he's like you said, he's very bright and he's friendly. But I just, myself as grandma,
Yeah.
I
The thing,
just didn't see anything wrong with him.
yeah, the thing that I think it's important for your listeners to understand is that autism can be present and it can be with other things. So you could have anxiety disorder and autism. You can have depression and autism. So they're not. It's not like a mutually exclusive disorder. And it's really important that parents understand that the whatever he has that could be medicated might need that. And it's not about them being autistic. It's about they have imbalances in their chemicals. Like say that, some depression is caused by a very low serotonin level. And if they have that, it doesn't make sense to say, no, he's going to be fine. Like, I'm going to get his levels or her
Right.
levels normal so
Right.
that they can function and
Right.
recognizing that it's not one thing. I can have hypertension and autism. I can have diabetes and I can have dysgraphia, dyslexia, and autism. So you're
Wow.
going to take care of the person and their needs, not the disease. Because there's no one fix. And if one doctor tells you, oh, I know, I can cure, and here we hear this sometimes politically, yeah, we can cure autism. It's not one thing, and it's really doing a disservice to not treat the person that's in front of you.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yes.
We got a question that came in.
Sure.
Uh, can autism develop in later years, or are you born with it?
That's a great question.
Like, could you be an adult and
And
start developing symptoms?
so I haven't seen research that it's developed. I think there are cases where kids are born autistic, but they do learn, they do what they call stimming, and they learn how to manage. But then as life gets more difficult, the rigidity shows up differently as an adult. So I can't say that you're not born with it versus acquiring it because I haven't seen research on that. But I would say sometimes there are situations where individuals' symptoms show up differently later in life. When you now have to navigate social relationships in a um, professional setting, it might show up differently than when you were a kid and you just played with your cousins, or you didn't have to really, they just kind of understood how Johnny is. That
Mhm.
might not work when you're now an adult and you're coming up very, very inflexible, very rigid, very, dogmatic,
Mm.
being a child,
Mm.
right?
Dr. Dean, please give me your contact information. I want to put it on the screen. Would you like to
Absolutely.
email you, or
Can I
is there a
put it
website?
anywhere? Oh, I can put it in the chat, right?
I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Oh,
If you
okay.
can tell me what it is.
Sure. Do you want an email or a phone
Uh,
number?
email sounds fine.
Sure. So it's beyond the spectrum at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Fully spelled out. Beyond the spectrum 25. I always forget that. 25 at gmail.com. And then I can be, I'm happy to talk to parents. I don't mind. Or even health professionals. I go and speak to groups so that we can have a better understanding. I love it when I'm able to partner with moms and or allies who are working in the space, because I think it gives voice to something that people don't talk about. So my cell number is 973-641-1118.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, don't go anywhere because I know Avalon has a couple questions, but
Oh, sure.
just a quick
She's been
commercial.
answering.
Good.
I couldn't wait. All right, we'll be back with more Books and Besties in just a bit.
Thanks.
DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits. Explore innovative fusion music of hip hop, house, Afro beats, and gospel genres all rolled into one perfect mix. Visit the world of a gospel praise experience as DJ Shaheem shares his new edit packs, filled with a remarkable experience. Enhance and elevate your worship experience through praise as we embark on a new and unique purpose to glorify Jesus and what he has been able to do in our lives. If you are looking for a different vibe in your worship and praise experience, this will definitely keep you moving and inspire you throughout your day and week. These mix and edit packs are not only for DJs and radio stations, but are meant for gospel music lovers as well. Take time out and visit DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits for your music source. Support the ministry as we reach others and draw them closer to Christ. Stay blessed, safe, and encouraged. DJ Shaheem Mix Edits. .sellfy.store. A conversation with Mama.
Many will come on this segment and they will come because they need to have a conversation with their mama.
Amen.
A Conversation with Mama is a series of episodes that discuss different topics that are important to you. Standing on God's Word and the Scripture as found in Proverbs 31:26. Now it's time for today's episode of A Conversation with Mama. Sundays at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to log on tomorrow, Sunday, 3:00 p.m. for A Conversation with Mama. I appreciate that episode because my mama lives in heaven now. So some of the conversations that they're having, all of them, I'm just glued to them. It's full of scripture and full of love. Okay, we're going to bring Avalon back in. Hey, girl.
Hey.
And Dr. Green is coming back. I want to see the book cover, Dr. Green.
Absolutely.
See what you got. Oh,
Yeah.
My goodness.
Beautiful.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
It's like puzzle pieces are missing from that brain.
Exactly. And I love that this is the autism sort of symbol. And I love that they chose that because each person is like a puzzle piece. And if you think about a puzzle, when you're looking at just one piece of the puzzle, you don't get the picture, you don't understand it, you don't find it valuable. But when you put it together and you get to see and understand what the puzzle is, that's amazing. And there are autistic people who can put a puzzle together backwards without the picture. But we need to understand the picture, the view, and that it's valuable. If you miss that one piece, your picture's not going to be complete. So if we recognize and value what every person brings to life, then we can have different conversations. And I think that's important.
Yes. I want to ask you something because I know I haven't seen you in a while.
Sure.
What is your role and responsibilities now that you're a senior vice president of wellness, diversity, equity, and inclusion at the hospital?
Sure. So this position came, I told you, after I left safety, I went into the human experience. And that really became important to healthcare organizations and really to any organization after the pandemic. We lost so many people who were sort of in the business for the money. If you were in healthcare for the money during 2020, you quickly exited stage left, right? So there was a lot of just burnout. And the people that were there, it was really challenging because we showed up for work every day, but we were dealing with our own losses at home, with our own, challenges of why am I in this space? So I think quickly the organization recognized that if I'm going to have good patient care, people who are taking care of other people, then I need to take care of the providers. And so wellness became a really important, I think it was like a 40% of the physicians who are in healthcare report not feeling satisfied or wanting to leave the space. Like they just did not feel well in providing care for other people. So that's a big, and that's AMA statistics. So it's a big and a significant thing. So human experience took care of the patients, their families, the community, and the employees. And so being able to be intentional about and provide programming on how to care for the caregivers, as well as be an important part of the community that's not just here to take care of people when they're sick, right? Because we don't have enough hospital beds to wait for people to do the right, for wait for people who are coming in and get sick. If we don't tell people, you know what, after a certain age, you don't need to be slipping in the back. You don't need a not. You need to make sure that you have a skid free bathroom. You need to not be climbing up on ladders when your balance is not. There are so many people. We need to manage our blood pressure. This is a message that hospitals need to be sharing, because we still are getting patients with strokes and, oh, I didn't realize, oh yeah, my blood pressure's been high, but I know when it's high because I get the headache. It's called the silent killer for a reason. So being able to, I also am responsible for population health, being able to be intentional as a hospital to take care of the human experience and impact what is going on in our communities and the information that they're getting around how to stay healthy.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a God moment, because it was like, and I have chaplaincy. So one of the other teams of people that are members of the healthcare team are our chaplains. And so being able to have even healthcare professionals recognize that we can give all the medicine we want, but if people aren't connected, if they don't, if they haven't tapped into whatever their source is and understand something bigger than themselves, then we're just wasting our time, wasting our energy. We are intentional about addressing the social drivers of health. We can, again, give as many prescriptions as we want. The person doesn't have a home, doesn't have meals, doesn't have anyone to support their care. So being able to take care of the whole person is my responsibility, and it's a senior vice president role, and that's
Nice. Nice. A
I
lot of work.
know I know a woman who continues to be consumed with guilt because her youngest child came to her as an adult and said, basically, Mom, I have adult ADHD. And the mom is like, well, what symptoms did you have as a child that maybe I missed? Maybe I could have gotten you some help earlier if I had. You're so smart. Oh, well, there's a wonder dog in the background. But what can I tell her to kind of calm down that guilt?
that nothing happens by accident, and guilt is really about the person and not her son, right? A lot of times we feel like we can control life, and that's really futile, right? You now know, do what you can where you are, because looking back and trying to figure out what I could have done differently is not going to help his needs right now. It might, and it won't help you either, because it kind of says, God is not who he is because this happened the way it's happening. And so I should have been able to circumvent it and do something different. And that's really bold because God doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, gotcha. He does know what he's doing. Look for what you can do now. Look for the information and how we can grow and learn now, and don't spend a lot of time in guilt, because it's not gonna help. It's kind of like worrying. He puts in the word not to worry for a reason. There's no value in it. We get nothing out of nothing. We don't become better by worrying. So he says, in everything by prayer and supplication. It's fine to ask questions, but pray about it. Oh, God, why now? What can I do? How can we? How can he grow? What do we need? And we all continue to grow. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, I get it. She should get, learn more. I ascribe, like, this. I love that this podcast is about books. I think it's really important for all of us to keep learning. You can read, and it teaches you. It can inspire you. It can just have you grow as a person and help other people. So be a person who stays curious. Who continues to read, because it can be therapeutic. It can change your mindset. It can change your perspective, and perspective is everything. Everything.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you have time, we'd like for you to stay for a little bit,
Okay.
just so you can meet our next guest,
All right.
Valerie A. Lewis. And so we're going to bring her in just a bit. Avalon, do you have her bio?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Valerie Coleman is a best-selling author, award-winning publisher, and publishing expert over 20 years in the industry. She has published more than 180 authors, 70% becoming bestsellers, and mentored thousands to profit from publishing. She's the founder of Pen of the Writer and When I See Me Children's Book Fair. Valerie empowers speakers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries to magnify their message, grow their platform, and leave a legacy through books.
We need to connect.
Oh, my goodness. Did you say 180?
Authors, yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness. All
We
right.
working on it, Angie. We working on it.
I was going to say I need to be 181. Let's.
Yeah,
Well,
Angie and I publish authors also. Yes, yes, Valerie.
hi, Valerie. Welcome
Hello.
to Books and Besties, dear. Well, she doesn't. Can you hear me, dear? No.
We can see you.
Mm-hmm. WhenISeeMe.com. Where's my sound?
We can hear you. I think I heard her voice. Oh, Valerie.
Valerie, we can see you and we can hear you, dear.
I think she's trying to come back.
Did we lose her?
I think she tried to come back. She didn't think she was in. So, but I love the fact that she's helps authors. That's fantastic.
I just
love it, right? 80. How many have we published, Angie?
maybe 20, maybe.
Yeah, we've published 20 authors. Yeah, so far, yes.
Wow. Okay.
So you can connect with your friend when you're ready for that next book.
Well, sometimes you need to reframe the one you've done. So let me know how that goes. But
Hello, Valerie. Can you hear us now, dear? Let me see. She cannot hear anything. Let me see.
Maybe
with her audio.
She might need to unmute, or she might have the mic. Oh, she has headphones.
Hopefully she has some. Hopefully. Okay. While we work on that, let me introduce you to our next program sponsor, coming from dfcmarket.com. We'll be right back.
The following is a testimony from dfcmarket.com.
What is my name? My name is Michael Douglas Scott. I've had chronic pain for the past 15 years. As I age, I get more pains. I have degenerative arthritis. I have basically 14 different medications, and they range from sleep apnea, trazodone, to ibuprofen, to meloxicam, to gabapentin, these are pain medications, about 6 different pain medications, medications to go to sleep. And I learned about immune support through Ernest Warren. He's a real good friend of mine. Do something, and he wanted to know how it made me feel. But it made me feel like a young boy again, and it caused me to be feeling full of life, full of energy. When I took the super immune support, I saw results the second day. Several friends who really wonder what the heck's gotten into me, because I'm jumping all over the place. I catch the bus and the train. I drive my van to the train station and use the stairs. And every chance, all day, I'm jumping up and down and doing push-ups, not push off the walls, jumping jacks, just full of energy. I've lost 25 pounds since December the 5th. I want to tell the world. I'll stand on the mountaintop and tell the world how good this stuff is on me. It takes care of me. My name is Michael D. Scott, and I take super immune support beta glucan, and I think you should too.
Visit www.dfcmarket.com for more information.
That's our show sponsor, dfcmarket.com. Go check it out and let us know what you think. Avalon.
Yes.
Valerie says she's not sure what's happening. She sent her apologies. She's trying one more time, so let me see. Valerie, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay.
I so apologize. This technology, I was just on StreamYard last week and everything was wonderful. Today, my laptop is not cooperating. So
It
I
be like that.
apologize. Yeah, I apologize for the disruption to your show. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. 180 books and authors. Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible. What got you started?
Well, my mom, when I was a child, we did a time capsule. My mother said way back then, I said I wanted to write a book. I don't remember that, but Mama said it, so it is so. And then from there, it just kind of migrated into lifing. I started out helping a friend, Vanessa Miller Pierce, who is now a USA Today bestseller and has lots of books in the Christian fiction and historical fiction. I think she's like 54, 55 novels in. And when I started helping her, I realized that there were a lot of people who didn't understand the business side of writing. So I started launching conferences and workshops to help them not get taken advantage of, not get deceived, not spend all their money, and still putting out junk. So that kind of got me into the business. I'm assisting Vanessa. And now, as you said, I've published almost 190 authors, and 70% of them are Amazon bestsellers. I have about 14 or 15 of my own books. And now I'm hosting citywide. Well, I've been hosting citywide book fairs since 2004, but I'm doing one now specifically for children and children of color.
Wow. Wow. And what city and state are you in?
I'm in Dayton, Ohio, the glorious Dayton, Ohio. Woo, woo, woo.
I attended Wilberforce University for 2.5 years, so I know.
Okay.
I know where you are. That's wonderful. Wonderful. What's one of your biggest challenges working with authors? Avalon and I have worked with authors, and sometimes they don't like the editing process. They want the book to be out when they want it out. They don't, they're in a hurry. What are some challenges that you've faced, and how have you been able to overcome them?
All of that. That. Yeah. And I think a big one for me is they want to put their faces on the front cover. That can be great if you're a well-known person, or if you have a very niche market and they are familiar with you. But one of my challenges has been getting authors to understand that even though the book may be about you, it's still not about you when it comes to reaching your audience. So you have to have a cover that appeals to who you're trying to reach, and not just your cute face and your beautiful makeup and your lovely hair and all that. So that sometimes has been a challenge. But the editing, because I do a really deep dive in your scripts, I do the high level edit, and then I hire someone to come behind me to do the proofreading. And almost all of them have been really okay with the level of editing I do, because there is some rewriting involved, but it helps to flesh out their storyline, the manuscript, and just to make it pop. And so as a result, they've been, quite a few of them have been, like I said, Amazon bestsellers. And one of them was on the Maria Shriver report. Her book she sent her book to my forever First Lady, Michelle Obama. And just, other opportunities come from when the book is well polished. So my goal is to make sure that their books are professionally engineered and designed to land them paid speaking engagements, media attention, and book deals.
Wonderful. We want to bring Dr. Green back in so that the two of you can meet, because That's what we do here on Books and Besties. We introduce everybody to each other. So Valerie,
Hi, how are you? I am so
Hi, Dr.
Lois.
Dr. Lois.
Yes. It's lovely
Nice
to meet
to
you
meet
as
you.
well. I am so excited to
Heard
know
what
you.
all was going on when I was in the
Yeah.
backstage, but my laptop was doing whatever it was going to do. It looked like
Yeah,
a
it was.
conversation, though. But the visual, the nonverbal was amazing.
the replay and share the replay. I see, Valerie, that you're sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. Looks like LinkedIn. So thank you very much for sharing our show on your two social media accounts. Can we ask to see some of your book covers?
Yes.
I know you said we don't need our faces on the book cover.
No, that's my experience. It hasn't worked for my authors. So this is my children's book, All the Things I Can Be When I See Me. It's the book that started the whole book fair and the movement. It's a conversation with my granddaughters, or several conversations with my granddaughters over multiple visits. They don't live in my state, and so when I have them, I'm always encouraging them about what they can be when they grow up and their desires and aspirations. So 22 different careers of women who look like them and have done the things they want to do. So modern day trailblazers, historical figures who give example and are role models for which my girls and other girls can follow in life. Now I've got a whole bunch of other books, so let me.
Wow, I 180. We all got to work a little harder.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I didn't write 180. Those are my clients' books. Yeah, that would be amazing if I had that many. I do have a friend who's got over 100. That's not my testimony. This one is my book on relationships, The Forbidden Secrets of the Goodie Box, relationship advice that your father didn't tell you and your mother didn't know. And it's based on my life experience. It's a novel, but I'm rolled into these characters. So there's three main characters, Deborah, Sherry, and Rachel. One married, two single, and them trying to better understand me and experience relational fulfillment. So I'm talking about monogamous, heterosexual relationships. Let me make that clear.
I hear you. 31 years married here.
I
do
am too. It's 31 in July. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And so the book is transformed, really helped a lot of women better understand themselves, not knee-jerk reactions and those decisions that take us down that rabbit hole of pain, hurt.
That needs a conference.
It's a boost of confidence when you know yourself, love yourself, and identify what's important to you. So this book has really changed a lot of lives and helped a lot of women. And then my very first book, the one that started it all, is Blended Families and Anthology. It's about step family life. When I married my husband, again, we're now 31 years. I had 2 children, he had 3, and I thought we was going to be the Brady Bunch. The devil is a lie. We had challenges with discipline and respect and finances and child support and visitation. It was challenging. And so we struggled. And at year 12, I was leaving. I had made up my mind, Father, that man who gave me and his children, you can have them back. I'm done. I beat the national average. 12 years is, I'm sure, well above average. So I'll take above average and be on my way. But what I ended up doing in being ready to leave, and I was serious about leaving, I was actually in the driveway. I called a girlfriend of mine who was a prayer warrior, Buffy. And I said, Buffy, I'm ready to go. I've had enough. The disrespect I'm getting is too much. I'm coming in from all angles. I'm not taking it anymore. And she said, oh, Sister Val, it'll be okay. Trust the Lord. I put my cell phone to the dashboard and revved the car engine. She said, oh, wait a minute. Father God in the name of Jesus, right now we climb. I said, okay, now don't play with me. And she prayed, and it empowered me. And so I went up back into the house, back to the car, back into the garage, went into the house, went up in the closet, created me a little prayer room, and I sought the Lord. Because up until that point, I was talking to everybody but Jesus. And so that really helped me to identify them, which made a shift in the dynamics of the family. So this book now, 6 or 7 continents, thousands of families have been able to flourish and nourish and modify their ways and actions by understanding what it is to be in a blended or step family. And I've got other books too, but I don't want to keep turning my head to y'all because I didn't have those ready. My apologies.
You were good. You were good. Not a problem. Man, you're right about the Brady Bunch. I've ministered to women who just knew all the pieces would fit in, and then when they realized, oh, we got to adjust one another. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the Brady Bunch, because I grew up in that era, was very misleading. Everybody had the same last name. We've got 3 in our family who were obviously showing lines of biological demarcation. You had surrogate Aunt Alice or Grandma Alice, and then her husband, and then the dog. But there was nobody who came on, so we don't know how they were divorced or separated. Were they widowed, divorced? Were they never married? There was never talk about child support. There was never talk about my grandma's coming over and you don't get to spend time with my grandma. You're not my daddy. You don't tell me what to do. My mama doesn't do it like that.
None of that.
There was none of that. It just flowed so seamlessly. That was my assumption. Well, I learned differently real quick. So I wrote the book.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Something.
Amazing.
Yes, yes.
That's a whole nother conference.
It really is.
About it. And I think getting the conversation, having people understand relationships are important and they're not all clean, you know. So
who have brought up very differently, different backgrounds, different experiences, sometimes different beliefs and values, bring together. The Bible says to become one flesh, but there's no process. The conversation about the becoming is never mentioned. That's a whole process in and of itself. And when you add in the dynamics of non-biological children, the finances that are connected to these children, the rules and regulations and kids being in different homes, maybe the other spouse or the former companion is still not over losing their mate and the challenges and stuff they pour into kids, it's a lot. So my husband and I are over the marriage ministry at our church, and one of the things we found to be true is a lot of churches, specifically, and I can only speak for African American churches because that's been my experience, is that we don't talk about step families in the church because it means there's some sense of loss. Someone was divorced, someone was widowed, someone was single and left alone. It's a sign that maybe something wasn't quite aligned with God's vision for family and marriage. And so they don't talk about it. My marriage counselor was a pastor. He only had one wife. He didn't know anything about step family. So he didn't tell us when we did our premarital counseling. He couldn't tell us anything. He didn't know anything. We both went in there blind. 5 kids and 2 blind adults.
Yeah. And then you wonder, sometimes as you're traveling that journey, you're like, oh, why me? But it's so that you can minister from a place of, I understand what you're going through. It's not clean and messy, and shame doesn't serve us. Like, this is not a mistake. These kids, this family, it's not a mistake.
Absolutely.
Let's move
and if we work together as adults, then what we can do is provide a more stable home and provide the children with better resources, more access. Now, maybe instead of 2 parents, they have a cadre of parents, depending on how many baby mamas you got in there, or baby daddies.
Exactly.
They could have a whole army to stand up and defend for them or advocate for them. But when you have conflict within the adults, it's difficult for the children to connect and attach. My husband's daughter was 8 years old when we got married. Him and his previous wife had been divorced for 3 years, so it wasn't like I came in and mixed up with anything. Mm-hmm. But she had a lot of unresolved issues from her parents' marriage. She remembered them being married, and it affected her, going forward. Who is this woman? That means mom and dad will never get married. And how can I be kind to you, have allegiance with you, and still love my mom? So she had all these things going on, which I didn't understand. because I had never been in a step family, had no expectation of disrespectful, defiant children, because I didn't raise my sons like that. Talk crazy if you want to. I got something for you. And so all this was different for me, and all I saw was a defiant, disrespectful little girl, not understanding that she was hurting. She had her own issues. She had unresolved issues. She had this mixed allegiance. How can, sometimes adults are like that. Well, if you're mad at her, then I can't be her friend. That's foolishness. But as a child, she didn't understand that. I didn't understand that was her angst and anxiety. And I was like, oh, no, we can't have this disrespect. She got to come over here like she got some sense or she don't come. So I had my own issues that I had to deal with and address to make the family more stable. I will say that we never really got to a place of wholeness. My husband was in the house with my sons, so he has a great relationship with them. But because of the rift and my lack of knowledge and some of the things that had happened, I didn't connect with his children on the level that he connected with mine. Mm. So when it came time to write this book, I had to do it as an anthology to get other people's stories, because I didn't have a clue of what was good and what wasn't. I knew what wasn't working. I didn't know how to always fix it. And in that process, I interviewed a financial analyst who his story was about how you can disinherit your children. If you're in a step family and you don't have a will in place, you can disinherit your children. Well, I went and got a will immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. There are stories in there from a psychologist or a licensed social worker. So Michelle Larks wrote a fiction segment for the book. There's 3 fictional parts, and the licensed social worker took the story and then dissected it from a clinical perspective. And when this happens, this is manipulation, and this is triangulation, and this is, so it was really good to take the story, the narrative that you may be able to see yourself in, and then identify what type of things were happening to move the story along. It's a powerful book.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
Ladies, I'm going to put you backstage for just a minute, because our next guest, Mr. Palmer, has arrived, and I'd love for Avalon to read his bio. We're going to let him come in, and then we'll bring Dr. Green and Valerie back in. Powerful.
Okay. Mr. Darren, he is a retired educator and entrepreneur. The opening is a referential take on history. He used it to venerate the violent Haitian Revolution and the ideal of justice and liberty in today's world. His practicality is a reference to the opening of a dialogue concerning the most purposeful activity one can do for themselves and others: becoming literate. Developing a habit of pensive engagement with ideals at one's own pace is to start on the road to critical thinking and productive citizenship. It further ensures a more rewarding life experience. We look forward to helping. Yes.
All right. Mr. Palmer, welcome to Kitchen Besties. Welcome to the show, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, help me pronounce the Overture books.
Yeah, like it's Louverture, like a long O, L, Louverture.
Louverture. Okay.
As in Toussaint Louverture.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So tell us, what city and state are you in?
Okay, so I am just outside of Atlantic City. We had a physical store in what is called Pleasantville, New Jersey. That's kind of our base of operations. Recently, we just moved to online only right now, so we're at louverturebooks.com. But we're in the great state of New Jersey.
Okay, I'm going to put your website up on the screen. You said it's .com.
Yes.
Okay, spell it for me real quick, so I'm sure I got it right.
Okay.
Does it have an apostrophe in it, the website?
No.
Okay.
I just put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
louverturebooks.com.
Okay. I think I got it. Thank you. We want people to get in touch with you. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us what got you on this path.
So, very simply put, it's just kind of inspiration, just something that aligns with kind of who I've always been. I've always been an avid reader, certainly since college, but ever since then. And in college, I went to a school in North Carolina Central University. And just off campus, there was a wonderful little bookstore. This was the mid 80s. And back in those days, if you wanted knowledge, you had to go to a book. All of the stuff that we have today wasn't an option. Audiobooks weren't an option. Streaming wasn't an option. Digital, nothing was an option. So you had to go to bookstores. And me and a number of my friends found refuge in a place called the No Bookstore. It was, KNOW bookstore, the No Bookstore, and it was just off campus in Durham, North Carolina. And we used to go there a lot, and we were kind of mentored by the bookstore owner at the time. We get into a lot of great conversations about just history and African-American culture, sociology, and things like that. So it became a place of refuge for me since my home was all the way in New Jersey. And I found myself down there in North Carolina with no way to get home often. I would go there, and it became a place of inspiration for me. So I said one day that I would always like to have a place like that of my own. So that's kind of where it came about. And I pursued a career in education after that. I recently retired in 2022 as a school administrator. I was a vice principal and principal for a long time. And this was a natural segue to kind of stay connected to the community, do something with a purpose, but at the same time, do something I enjoy.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. I love men that desire something more than just a job. I love men that can say, let me write a book, let me open a business, and so I appreciate what you've done, and I think it's safe to say your community appreciates what you've done as well. Tell us about some of the life opportunities that have come to you as a result of your effort.
So I always knew that at some point I wanted to engage in business. Sometimes life steers you in a way that, you kind of have to do what is laid before you in order to kind of just keep moving and kind of get ahead that way. So when I became a school administrator, I always had a sort of crusading spirit. I always wanted to make a difference in a very authentic way. So you do what you can do in the confines of that kind of public school apparatus. But I knew that once I finally retired, once I got the opportunity to retire, I was going to save some of my youth, so to speak, for something that I really wanted to do. And the only model for business that I knew was that bookstore I told you about. And the brick and mortar approach was the only way I knew how to teach myself business. Even then, going into it, I think we went into it kind of right before or during the post-COVID recession. So it really probably wasn't the wisest engagement, but it was the only means of engagement I understood. So we kind of went in feet first, opening up the brick and mortar. And that was a way also to stay connected to the community in a very physical, tangible way. We did a number of things to try to make that approach work. We had a number of in-store authors who came to present their work. We enjoyed being just a fixture in the community for the short time that we were there. It was a very multicultural, multi-ethnic community. This is Pleasantville, New Jersey, right outside of Atlantic City, New Jersey. So all that was very enriching for me because I'm that sort of person anyway. I love that kind of interaction among people of all ethnic groups. So we were just trying to figure out business as we were going along with it. And today, we're still looking to do that sort of thing. We embarked this year for the first time on a sort of a book fair circuit. We went as far south as Annapolis, Maryland, and as far north as New York City with the Harlem Book Fair, either as just visitors or vendors in many cases, just trying to make sure that we stay community centered. So we're going to be looking forward to doing much more of that and broaden our circle in 2026, God willing.
God willing, God willing.
Yeah, I have to stay in touch. I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Absolutely. Well done.
Well, I'd like to bring in Dr. Green so you can meet her.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Dr. Green and Darren Palmer. And now we're going to bring in Valerie J. Lewis. Valerie wants you to meet Mr. Palmer.
Hi, Mr. Palmer. I am impressed as a retired school educator myself. I think that takes a lot of work and effort. So kudos to you. In the bookstore, yeah, we need to talk.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Good to meet you.
And I'm in New Jersey, so we definitely have to talk.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Mr. Palmer, I'm going to encourage you to put your contact information in the private chat so Dr. Green and Sister Lewis can get in touch with you. This is why we do Books and Besties, not just to introduce our audiences to one guest at a time, but we want the guests to meet and communicate with each other. God always puts together the right people as guests on this show. Educators, people that help, in the classroom, outside of the classroom. And so it's just beautiful to have the three of you here on the show today.
Wonderful.
Happy to be here. Absolutely. Great company.
Mr. Palmer, the opening, is that a book of yours?
No, so actually the opening is actually French for Louverture. And it basically, we kind of used it to kind of be clever and talk about how we were undertaking our grand opening, in 2022 with the store, but at the same time trying to weave in history and make people ask questions like you just did. What is the connection between, what does this word stand for? What is this all about? Because, I really believe that, we should never forget our history. And one of the ways that we never forget it is to constantly weave it in to our culture. Right. So the opening simply refers to the Louverture, or Louverture stands for the opening. And that's a reference to the store.
And you mentioned something about the Haitian Revolution in your bio. How does that connect?
Right. So the inspiration for the store, beyond just opening up a business, was once again to connect history to our present. And so the Haitian Revolution was the principal actor in the Haitian Revolution was Toussaint Louverture. And Toussaint Louverture simply means Toussaint the opener. So Toussaint was the field general who opened up opportunities for the French or the Haitian resistance to ultimately defeat the French. So it's just one of those kind of opportunities to reach onto history and make it current.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It's a history lesson for us. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay, we got a couple of questions that have come in. But first, I got to give a shout out to Adisha Servants. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. And Michael Wilson, thank you for joining us on Books and Besties today. We appreciate that, and we're grateful for you. Okay, the question came in. It's for each of you. What is the best way to promote your book? What have you found has been the best way to promote your book? Dr. Green, you want to
Sure.
first?
I've just actually embarked on this journey. I haven't even had like a formal book signing, but I'd say that the best way is by doing it and I'm going to defer to Valerie because she definitely, I'm going to be consulting her on the best way. But when I've gone and talked to audiences about the information that's in it, is when I've had the best connection and the most sort of uptick of sales. But I know that there's, to get to the bestseller level, I'm going to have to kind of scale that and do some different things. But I get the most connection from when I talk to parents or I talk to groups of health providers and do conferences, that kind of thing. So.
Absolutely. Nobody can sell it like you. Not Amazon, your website.
Yeah.
Yeah, people want to hear it from you. I got you. All right, Valerie, how are you promoting your books?
I'm taking notes.
Well, take note. The first thing you said was the top thing for me, which is speaking engagement.
Yeah.
How to the people, and as an introvert, which most writers are, including me, it can be a challenge. But I find that when I connect with the people, they see my personality, they know, like, and trust me, they're more inclined to invest in my books or my services. So speaking engagements by far are the most effective for me. And then of course after that, interviews like this. So again, thank you for this platform, which expands your reach, lets people see your expertise. You connect with other people, so that cross promotion is a big thing. And then the thing that I'm doing now, which is getting me a lot of exposure in the community, are my book fairs, because I'm hosting citywide book fairs. So there's a lot of marketing that goes involved with that: radio, TV, interviews, postcards, just get the word out about the When I See Me.com book fair has made a big difference on who I am. So now people are reaching out to me to, can you come to our school? Can you help me with this? I need help with this, because they're seeing me out in the public more. So the biggest thing is to be out where you're visible. Social media is great for awareness, but if you really want to generate sales and opportunities, you got to get out and hit those streets. So that grassroots doesn't change.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Palmer, how are you promoting and selling your books?
So I couldn't agree with Valerie more in terms of getting on the circuit, so to speak. So I'm not an author yet. Right now, I basically promote my store by physical appearances at book conventions, fairs, shows, things of that sort. And obviously, I'm a vendor, so I get in a lot of material. We have maybe over 14 different book publishers or distributors that we're able to pull from in order to source our store. So when we go to events, we're basically have our wares on display. However, this year has been very eye-opening for me. I attended a few different events that have been very enriching, and they're going to kind of chart the path for what we do going forward. Literacy Nation, Valerie and Dr. Green out of Philadelphia, New Jersey, does a wonderful book fair right there in Center City each year. I think that this was their second annual event. I definitely have another one next year. That was very, very successful. It brought together authors, independent authors like yourself from all over the region. I met a lot of wonderful people there. Out of Roselle, New Jersey, since we're all from New Jersey, the IABX Independent Authors Association. I attended their event in I want to say that
September.
Was at sometime. They did have one in September. You're right, but they had another one I went to in June, I believe it was.
The children's, yes.
Very well done. Very well done. The people who bring that together did a good job at kind of hosting authors like yourselves. We were a vendor there. We made a lot of good contacts. And recently we were in Collinswood, New Jersey. They had another really, really nice outdoor event that we attended. So we're doing those sorts of things to kind of keep the idea of, to sell things through our store, but also to just promote literacy in general. When I'm there at those functions, I make a point to kind of get out and interview people like yourselves and kind of help promote them through my social media. And we just got to continue to keep an interest in reading, because if our children are not reading at a young age, they're not going to read. They're unlikely to read, I should say, at an older age. And if reading doesn't come natural to them early on in life, they'll seek other means of information, which are not necessarily books. So that's what I try to do. I just try to promote literacy in general.
You're right. You're right. And speaking of literacy, I got to pop this image up on the screen. The 15th anniversary of the Fresh Book Festival is coming up in January. It takes place in Daytona Beach, Florida, January 30th through the 31st. And it features a weekend of books, films, authors, and workshops. They're making literacy happen. So here on Books and Besties, we'll be promoting that a little bit more as we get closer. But I wanted to answer that question with book fairs and book festivals, attending these types of events, whether you're a main speaker or presenter or not, if you're there as a vendor, a great way to be able to interact with other authors and sell your books. So save the date, January 30th, 31st, Friday and Saturday. We like to come in on Thursday, the 28th. That's for the film festival that evening. So save the dates, plan to come to Daytona Beach, Florida, and I will meet you there because I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. So save the date and come on out and join us. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Does anybody have any other, because I've got two more questions. Anybody else have any questions that they want to ask someone?
There's a lot of different routes to get started as an author, and a lot of people ask, how should I do it? Should I self-publish? Should I try to seek a publishing? And people spend a lot of money, and there's a lot of different ways to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first book, and I think I have others in me.
Yeah.
What's the right path?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I share a point of view? This is just a point of view
from, from both of you. Absolutely.
Just from a vendor's point of view. And I wouldn't dare tell anyone how to undertake their passion. But people often come to me and say, how can I get my book in your store? Well, obviously, we're a little bit more limited now because we don't have a physical brick and mortar anymore right now. We hope to reapproach that medium maybe in a year or so if it seems viable. However, one of the things they would often say is, how can I get my book in your store? Or even sometimes when I'm at such events that I describe, they will say the same thing. So the key thing for me is to find out, to kind of figure out whether or not, obviously most authors are selling their own book, right? Either at events like I described or through Amazon or whatever the case may be, because these are marketplaces. Let's face it, right? You can't ignore any avenue. The question becomes, how can I sell it as well as you do? How many units can I move? Because sometimes we're no better as independent bookstores able to sell an independent book than you are, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's just a lot of competition out there. Right. One thing I noticed when I was at a couple book fairs recently was some of the authors took steps to bind their book in a way that made it seem potentially more attractive to a buyer. A hardback book, frankly, is yes, the color and all that kind of stuff is great because it draws attention, and so it has to be the type of item physically that someone would say, that might be worth my investment, So those things help, but obviously your own promotion is a big deal because nobody can sell it the way you do.
Right. Go ahead, Valerie. What do you say?
I would say when it comes to options for publishing, as you said, Dr. Lois, there are several options. And most people who I talked to initially, they want to be, back in the day on Oprah's couch. I want my book to be on Oprah's couch. Okay, that sounds great. Everybody pretty much wanted their book to be on Oprah's couch. And so the realism is that's probably not going to happen for you. Not because of the quality of your book, not because you don't know what you're doing, just because there's probably a million people vying for those positions. So what I always encourage my authors to do is start out as a self-published author. So that way you can understand the business, build your platform,
create some credibility, and then if your goal is to then reach a traditionally published house, now you've already shown, well, I'm able to sell 40, 50,000 books without your help. I have a
Mm,
following of X number of thousands, tens of thousands on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. So I will be an easy win for you. And that's what the traditional publishers are looking for. Who's going to be an easy win? Because
mhm.
they spend all this money publishing books, putting out these books, and I don't know the percentage, but I'm sure it's probably 70, 80% never recoup their initial investment.
Right.
That's
Wow.
why the
Mhm.
publishing is downsizing. They're
Yeah.
making it more difficult to become one of their authors. And even if you do land a traditional deal, which several of my friends have done, the problem is they control the process.
Yeah.
They pay you in
Mhm.
draws, and if you never hit the milestones so that they
They,
recoup all their money, you don't get any more money. They'll cancel the deal. So
wow.
whether you're traditionally published or if you're self-published, you have to do the work, or independent published, you have to do the work, like Mr. Palmer said, to get your name out there.
Yeah.
That's
My
true.
friend who traditionally published, she started out self-published. Now she writes for 3 different publishing houses, and she is in the streets, on social media, at book signings, hosting book fairs. She's everywhere at all times because that's what's necessary to sell your book. So
Books.
regardless of the route,
Right, right,
the work doesn't get easier to market it.
Right. Right.
right.
Good to know.
And
Thank
I'm just gonna say I'm an author too. And I started out in 2012 with a traditional author. Uh, um I almost paid $3,000 to get my book published. And down the years, when I started meeting other authors at Expo, and heard they're doing self-published, I was like, how did they do that? How did they do that? So I started adventuring and learning how they do that, and realized what the publishing company that charged me money, what they were doing. I could do the same thing and not even spend almost $300, $500, where they charge me $3,000. So I now do my own books, publish my own books, and I have learned enough where I connect with Angie, and we help other authors to publish their books. So, and like you said, the marketing, you get out there and you have to market yourself. I've been to some book expos. That's where I met Mr. Palmer. He just don't remember me, but at the children expo. But yeah, so the marketing part is the hardest part because you got to get out there. And I know for me, I'm not out as much because I had some knee problems, but I get where I can get. And like you said, it's better to be present. You kind of sell more books,
Mhm.
when you're present. But I no longer. Now, I would love to get a book deal down. I'm pushing on that, doing literary letters and stuff like that, to get to that. But even that's a process. But, because they say sometimes you may write 50 letters before you get that person to acknowledge your book. But I'm willing to
Mm.
take that journey. But far as publishing, I'm doing my own books now because, it's just more, it's easier. And it's,
And it's
it's,
more
you know,
profitable.
it's, it's,
Yeah.
it's less money that I'm putting out
Yeah,
of my pocket.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
more profitable initially because you,
Yeah.
like you said, have that level of investment. So the people who you pay to publish your book, they're called book producers. That's another
Right.
option.
Yeah.
That's what I do for clients. They pay me. I publish their books. It includes cover design, editing, and website presence, and all that other stuff. So there is an investment for that over and above what you would pay if you did it yourself. Exactly.
Yeah. I did it myself, and it was a journey. It was like
Yeah,
delivering a baby.
well, you know it's done though.
Well,
Successful people
you've done your first. Once you
have,
learn, it becomes easier,
Yeah.
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of minutia, if you will, that goes into effective publishing. Cover all the elements that belong on the cover, the Library of Congress catalog,
Yeah.
copyright, your barcodes.
Yes.
Where do
Yes.
I get these things? The template
Yeah.
for
I
your
think
Getting
cover,
it.
cover.
the
It's a
point
lot.
that I've gotten to is I can do everything but that professional editing. I still need that
Mhm.
professional editor,
Yeah. We all
but
do. And
everything else I can do myself.
yeah.
That's and I would like to say on in addition to that, author Avalon, is that even if you are an editor, which is what I am, I hire people to come behind me because your brain
It's
will play
different.
tricks on you and
Oh
tell you
yeah.
everything's
Mhm.
okay when it's not, and you'll miss things
Mhm.
that some that a professional editor should catch. So yeah, it's great that you do the professional editing because that's, like we said at the top of the interview,
It's
that,
essential.
that a lot of authors trying to save money don't do.
And
And
it
then
shows
when
it,
the books get out there, well, Val, my book's not selling. Well, yeah, you said she climbed up the stairs, Stares. So she's driving a Lincoln Escalade. No, she's not. So those type of things need to be corrected.
Oh, I got it. I got
I
it.
love my editor. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, editing is it's a great
Please.
relationship. You have a great editor you can work with who understands your voice, connects with you, and then does the deep dive work.
Yes.
Of editing you want.
Yeah.
To make sure your script is
And it keeps you
pristine.
humble because you're like, whoa, I made that many mistakes. It's like, whoa, okay.
It does keep you humble.
Yeah.
It really
And
does.
you learn, hopefully, if you're teachable, you learn what to do differently going forward.
Sure.
All right, before the show ends, we always have to talk to you about the Yup program. So let me play this quick video and we'll be back with more of Books and Besties in just a bit.
Please allow us to introduce you to one of the graduates of our Yup program.
Hi, I'm Sandra B. I live in Michigan. And yep, I'm an author.
Yup, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. Our goal is to initiate literacy in students and lead them to entrepreneurship through authorship. Our mission is to identify and invite organizations to participate in this program. Students participate in virtual writing workshops where they are encouraged to write their stories and provide reviews of stories read. We ask you to support our youth. For a donation of only $50, your company or organization will be mentioned as a youth supporter in the next audiobook. Send an email to yup.I'mAnAuthor@gmail.com to provide a scholarship for a young person to participate.
Yep, I'm an author.
Proceeds are accepted and disbursed by Angie B. Productions. And now, these students are authors and entrepreneurs. Follow us online. Just search for Yup, I'm an Author on Facebook. Use the hashtag Yup, I'm an Author. Or call 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519 for more information. This program is sponsored in part by Angie B. and Barty Productions.
Yep, I'm an author.
It's always such a joy to see little Sandra B bragging about how she's an author. Not only is she an author, but she is an audiobook narrator with Angie B Productions. We narrate and produce audiobooks. So we like to partner with authors and publishing companies to provide our services. Just keep that in mind. We will produce your audiobook. And for all of those authors that need help from me and Avalon, we do offer that service to you as well. So audiobooks can definitely help with literacy as you're reading along and listening. And, you can kind of compare the two. It really can help with your literacy. We authors sometimes feel that people need to buy our books, but we forget that some are on the spectrum, like Dr. Green talked to us today. Some have dyslexia, some do not have the attention span to read, and other people, English may not be their first language, so they can't grasp it the way you delivered it to them. So we always encourage folks to look into producing their book as an audiobook to be able to expand the world of literacy. Okay, we're going to bring Avalon back in again. And before we bring all our guests back in, Avalon, look at this eclectic crew you scheduled today. was wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I learned more about autism. I learned
Yes.
about how to help others with publishing. And I learned some history today. Thank you, girl. Thank you.
I try my best to bring on the best people we can.
You did a wonderful job. Wonderful job. We got a chance to really introduce our audience to dfcmarket.com. And I want everybody to remember that A Conversation with Mama takes place Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget about that. But I got to play this one for you, Avalon. I went and found it.
Hi, this is author Avalon Celeste Brown. I am the visionary of this project. Recently, I've been speaking to different nurses who have been expressing and voicing their challenges and their frustration while working in the field. So I decided to reach out to different nurses from different specialties and bring them together to create a book so that they can write about their experiences, their challenges, their frustrations that they experienced in nursing and how they overcame them and why those challenges did not make them quit. This is going to be a very important book for the next generation of nurses because they can see that they are not alone out there. The nurses before you have gone through these same type of challenges, these same frustration, but they never allowed it to make them quit because nursing is their passion. And this is what we want you to know. Keep your passion. Never let them make you quit.
Audiobook produced and promoted by Angie B. Productions.
Yep, that's a good book right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That was our first
We
one.
can't have our nurses quitting. They need to know that the pioneers have gone through more than you're going through today. But we endured. I endured 43 years before I retired. So I just want to encourage the nurses that's coming behind me to stick with it. Realize what your purpose is as a nurse. Know that it's your passion, because if it's not your passion, you are going to just give up. But because it was my passion, I endured more than people even know. I told some in the book, but it was even more than what's even in the book.
Wow. Well, Dr. Green says she has final thoughts. Autism is not a tragedy, deficit, or limitation. Language matters. Neurodiversity, ability, dignity, intelligence, and capability present differently. And it's incredible. Dr. Green, I want you to know that you have helped a couple of mothers that have texted me today to say they really needed to hear this because, of course, we mothers always think it's something that we did. And, scientifically it could be, but, so what if it's something that you did? What are you going to do about it? And what resources do you have? What resources do you have? And so we do appreciate that. We do have one question for you before we get out of here.
Sure.
What resources do you recommend for adults on the spectrum? They still haven't gotten it together.
I actually put a load of resources in the book. It's really a lot of links and information about some of the things that you talked about, even planning, estate planning, communicating when you go for doctor's visits, how to prepare others for you. So there are a ton of resources in the book that I would love that moms, look, and even adults with autism read and give me feedback on. I've gotten some good feedback to date. Moms are walking around with my book. So I'm actually working on a workbook so that they'll have a way to have all the information sort of in one place so that when they go to different appointments or they're looking for resources, they can have it all in one place. But
yes.
And Dr. Green,
and I made sure to give my daughter your book too, because I did see that there was a lot of resources in that book.
Yeah. And they're
that she could use. Yeah.
Dr. Green, is your book considered a children's book?
It is not. It is um, it's difficult to categorize, but it is, I guess, healthcare
Oh,
and education.
Okay.
So,
Educational, yes, yes,
yeah,
it definitely was that.
because we have some people walking around that are autistic and don't know it, and when they read the book, they realize it's got a name. I'm not weird. I'm not, strange. And other people share my experience, and I can thrive. So,
wow. That is wonderful. We're going to
and I
bring Valerie back in here.
please.
And Valerie, oh my goodness, I appreciate your contribution to literacy with the people that you have helped. The question that we have for you is, what was one of the most difficult books for you to help publish?
And I actually finished because some were so difficult. I was like, yeah, this I can't. But one of the ones that was the most difficult was written by a highly educated person, and he's a has a doctorate in psychology, and he is bilingual. He's bicontinental or transcontinental, so he's in the U.S. and Africa. And his story was great, but it was very academic initially. And I was
Oh,
like, "Who's your audience? Who do you want to connect with your message?" So we have to write this in a tone that they can relate to.
mhm.
So, and as a result, he ended up being an Amazon bestseller, and he travels the world and sells his book and gets the word out. So sometimes it's not so much the author as it is the content, and being specific on who you're writing to and how to connect with them. And I reached out to Dr. Lois in the chat and said she needs to have a children's book.
I'm happy to.
Yes, because I
Yeah.
have a literary friend who has the book. She works at the Children's Medical Center in Cincinnati, and she writes books about autism, but they're children's books, so they're geared towards either the parent. But it connects messages for the parent and the child. And one is, why is he this way, and what are we going to do with you for a child with ADHD, and so the message there connects to the child. So, like you said, with the parent, because like I said, I missed this conversation earlier. For the parents, it gives them resources and tools. But then for the child, they can connect and say, okay, I'm not so different. There are other children who are experiencing what I'm experiencing. So I think your next move, Doc, I don't know, don't
No,
hold
I
it.
love it. I love
Yes,
it. I love coaching. I think
yes,
this
but
is
I think
great.
it should be,
I wrote this from a healthcare person's perspective because that's my experience. But I
yeah.
felt like, in talking with parents and making sure that their voice was in the book, this would be a perfect next step.
Absolutely. I think that would be phenomenal. And like your other guest, Mr. Palmer said, literacy is important. In my city, Dayton, Ohio, the three lowest ranking school districts in all of Ohio are in my community. So
Oh,
my goal, I know, right? The three, and out of 600 and something school districts. Now, this is the 22-23 report card. I don't know if much has changed, but the three lowest districts are in my community. And although there may be a lot of common threads, what stands out the most and most obvious is that these are predominantly Black and brown schools, the children, predominantly Black and brown children.
Yeah.
So my goal with the book fair and my children's books and curating other authors with quality books, because that's very important to me. I don't want to give little kids books with typos in them. That's not going to work for me. They're learning how to read. They don't need to misunderstand homonyms and synonyms because the author didn't know what they were doing. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that to the baby.
right,
Yeah.
right.
But by this way, when they see themselves in the stories they read, they can connect to the story, whether it's about autism, some mental, some other mental thing or something physical, or the fact that I'm Black and brown and I'm still beautiful. That is a way to connect with children so they see themselves as a hero in their own story, fall in love with the books that they read, connect with the message, and then as they fall in love with reading. Now we know that children first they learn to read and then they read to learn.
Yeah.
If they never learn to read, then our babies have a deficit on top of lifing. They have another deficit.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that the children fall in love with books by seeing themselves in the stories they read.
Absolutely. 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 Oh my goodness. Mr. Palmer, our final question for you is, how are you what is your process? How are you selecting books that you want to offer on your website and in your future return to brick and mortardom?
Right. So we do a lot of networking. We go to a lot of different bookstores, often informally, and just kind of confer with bookstore owners about like how do they keep their enterprise going. Basically, we've been to Brooklyn, and Washington D.C., and just kind of interacting. For small bookstores, we realized that we have to be a bit of a boutique bookstore. We can't really carry the titles that you might expect at a Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, because we just don't have the space, the volume, or the demand from customers. So we had to curate our inventory according to what customers came in and asked for. Right.
Okay.
Initially, we opened up and just kind of took a shotgun approach at it, to use a phrase, uh, and put out there what we thought would sell. And sometimes it didn't, sometimes it did. But more often, folks came in with a specific title in mind. And then that became the direction that we navigated ourselves into for purchases going forward. So that will probably be what we continue to do. A number of authors have reached out to us over the time and requested to have their books in. And they'll sometimes send me a sample so I can get a sense of whether or not it would be the right fit for the store. Or sometimes if they were really local to my store, I would just take a shot at it and purchase a few. And every time we had someone come in and present, we'd always buy a few books as well to make sure we had them on our shelves for that moment as well as going forward. And then we just kind of wait to see how they sell. But as we continue, as we move from the brick and mortar to our online presence now, our primary focus is on some of the more contemporary bestsellers, because that's what drives people to our website. And then we try to spin off from there some of the more curated titles that might be obscure to the public.
Okay, that sounds like a blessing. All right. There is hope for me to get my book in your bookstore. There's hope.
Me too.
Hope for me. Hope for me.
And
All
we're
right.
market makers. We're trying to make a market for authors too. We're trying to, the more successful or popular we become as a go-to site for curiosity or just for titles, then we can kind of expand what we offer.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Green, do you have any final words of wisdom for us before we end the show today?
Just continue to read. I think that we learn so much by reading. And so like I said, I appreciate this platform. We can talk, connect, read, the things that I mentioned. Capability presents differently. So you don't know what you have that you can present to the world that's just here for you to do. So don't think somebody else is going to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you. God bless you. Valerie, do you have any closing comments for us?
Absolutely. First, again, thank you again for the opportunity to be here. And I want to say that if anyone's in the Dayton, Ohio area, I invite you to the whenisee.me.com book fair. It's the last Saturday in July. We give hundreds of children get a free book, Chick-fil-A gift cards, book bags, writing journals. And my son, who is a mental health therapist, he does social emotional learning work with the children on how to express their big emotions productively and get good results. So I invite you all to come out. I know you all are everywhere but Ohio, but y'all can come on through anyway. July the 5th.
Right.
All right. July. Hey, let's let the government open back up and the TSA agents get straight, and we just may see you in July. We just may see you. Mr. Palmer, do you have any closing comments?
I'd just like to say again, thank you for providing a forum for us to engage. This is what I call community, and it's really, really essential for us to do this. Not only as a means of selling our titles and our publications, but also to connect. Community is really important, particularly in this era where it's easy to not connect, or to connect via text or some other impersonal way, or way that's not personal. So this is really a good opportunity. And going forward in 2026, I hope to also build a platform similar to this, so authors like yourselves and people of like minds can kind of network.
Well, keep us in mind. Avalon and I pretty
Yes.
Save my spot.
So, yep. Just keep us in mind.
Will do.
Yes.
Avalon, you got any final questions for our guests?
No, I mean, thank you all for coming. Like Angie said, I learned a lot, and we're gonna stay connected. I want to get the best selling too, a real best selling. get some book deals. But I truly thank God for all of you coming here. It has been a great show. It's been a great show.
It
Thank
absolutely
you.
has
Thank you for
been.
having us.
Thank
Dr. Angie, how can we get the link to maybe post on our social media going forward? Is that something that
I'll
you
provide that for you.
Yeah,
thank you.
it's in the private chat, but you can always follow Angie B Productions,
Mhm.
ANGIEBEE, like a bumblebee Productions, and we air all of our shows there. I do a Christian radio show weekdays, Monday through Fridays, in the mornings there on NGB Productions. Conversation with Mama that airs Sundays at 3. It's on NGB Productions. And so is Book and Besties. So you just stay in touch with Avalon. We got you. We
Love it.
got you.
Got okay, wonderful.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you so much to each of you. We appreciate you for being here
Yes.
so much. And oh, Avalon, that was wonderful. I
Yes.
can't wait to
Yes.
share it with some other people that I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you.
All
I really,
righty. And you enjoy the rest of your day.
you too. And if it's the Lord's will, we'll be back next Saturday with more books and besties. Bye bye, everybody.
Yes. Bye bye.